up, people? This is William Jones making videos about leaving religion. The purpose of the videos is to get you to think. Turn your brains on and think. And use logic and use reason and realize that religion is fake. Alright, now for this video is going to be titled, Nobody's Perfect. Says who? We always hear the term, and people will say it, religious or not, hey, I ain't perfect. Nobody's perfect. But let's really get into this. Where do we get this idea that you're not perfect? I mean, let's talk about it. Why are you not perfect? Why don't you think you are perfect? So we're going to get into it from a standpoint of logic and reason, thinking. And fortunately, most of you here are not religious, so we don't have to be put into the box that religion has made for us about what's perfect. Because even though you don't believe in God, you're still putting yourself in that box. Why? Why are you putting yourself in that box that religion has put that stigma on society about? It's just not real. So we'll get into it. Now, I want to say this. First, I'm going to just go over the definition from Oxford of perfect. All right, so let's see what the definition of perfect is, and let's get into this video. I just have an idea or feeling that this video is going to be good. I really do. So let's get into this, all right? Perfect. Here's the first definition. Having all the required or desirable elements, qualities, or characteristics as good as it is possibly to be. Example is life certainly isn't perfect at the moment. All right. The next definition says absolute, complete, used for emphasis, a perfect stranger. That's not the one we want. All right. The next one says what? We got a verb. No, we got a noun coming up. And it says make something completely free from faults or defects, or as close to such condition as possible. He's busy perfecting his bowling technique. Now, as a bowling person, I get that. You know what I'm saying? Because the bowler perfect 300, or 300 is a perfect score. And you got all strikes. So I get that, right? But that's for the game. That's not for the person. All right? And my boy James Watkins, he ordered a book. And the book came with, as he called it, a slight blemish. So the book's appearance is not perfect. The content is a whole different thing, but at the appearance we might say it's not perfect. But that's not what we're talking about for being perfect. Because you have no control over what you were born with, what color you were born, where you were born, if you have any defects, no defects, tall, short, you have no control over that. But that has nothing to do with you being perfect. That's not what we're talking about. That's just like the cover of the book. That's the cover of the book, not the content of the book. And we're talking about the person here, not what you look like, but what's on the inside about you being perfect. So let's get into this. In the Bible, in Matthew chapter 5, verse 48, after Jesus did his Sermon on the Mount and said all this nonsense about loving your enemies and praying for those that despitefully use you, and if somebody sue you at the law for your coat, give them your cloak, all this mess that nobody does, a bunch of nonsense, he finishes it with verse 48 saying, be ye therefore perfect as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. Also, I might say also, but perfect. Okay, but perfect. So even on the scale of saying somebody's perfect, if you're comparing yourself to the biblical God, he's not perfect. Now, like I said, we're not Christians here. The Christians gonna be like, oh, I can't believe you said that. Well, you say God ain't perfect. He's not. He's jealous. He's spiteful. He's a murderer. He does things, has to repent. He sends lying spirits. He lies himself. He impregnates virgins, espoused to somebody else, and now he's playing hide and seek. He's not perfect. But the excuse that believers are, well, if God did it, it's his creation, so he's outside of the rules that he makes. So he's not saying, do as I do. He's saying, do as I say, not as I do. That's not a good parent. That's not a good example to lead by. You can't. So if I go out and massacre thousands of people, guess what? They'd be like, why'd you do that? I only wanted to be just like God. Jesus told me to be like God, to be perfect like him. So I was just doing what he did. And I murdered thousands of people. That's what he did. That's what he did. He doesn't keep his word. I mean, it's ridiculous. That's why I'm glad God is a fictional character, not real. But people are basing being perfect on gods that don't exist. Now let's say this. I love nature shows. Anybody that knows me know I love nature shows. I love them. I watch them all day long if I can. One year on my other job, some years ago, I took the whole week off just to watch Shark Week. For real. I love nature shows. Now, can I say that this great white shark, he's not perfect? Why is he not perfect? Because he killed them seals. You just ate an 8-piece wing? I mean, what are you getting at? That's what sharks do. That's his nature. The shark is doing what sharks do. That shark ain't perfect. Why? Because he attacked that person. Well, he thought that person was something that he ate, and did he eat the person? I mean, no, where they bled to death because he bit him and found out it wasn't what he ate. You had remains, right? Yeah. Do you have any remains from that chicken sandwich? No. Right. You ate the chicken sandwich because that's what you eat. Anything you don't like, guess what? You don't eat it. The shark didn't consume it. Why? That's not what the shark eats. He thought it was something else. You took some tofu and thought it was something else and found out, oh, it's tofu. And you didn't know what tofu was. You didn't like it. You spit it out. But the tofu that you bit was still not the same form it went into your mouth as. You understand? But does that make the great white shark not perfect? No. Crocodiles, the antelopes or anything, the wildebeest, anything come to the water to drink, and they snatch them underwater and drown them and then do the death roll and eat them. But is the crocodile not a perfect crocodile? Huh? Okay. I mean, we can go through the owl eats the rats or anything smaller than it. Is the owl not a perfect owl? The owl is an owl. Perfect according to what? What are you comparing them to say they're not perfect? What are you comparing them to? The tiger isn't a perfect tiger. Why isn't the tiger a perfect tiger? The tiger is, guess what? A tiger. We shouldn't even add this perfect on to who we are. Why? Because we got that from what? Religion. About nobody's perfect. Have you met everybody? About 67 billion people on this planet. Have you met them all to say nobody's perfect? But if you're a Christian, of course, if you ain't received Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, then you ain't perfect. But somehow Jesus was perfect. Jesus could whip people for the money changes, but he was perfect. Jesus could tell people like, you know, tell them what the Canaanite woman, you know, can you heal my daughter? It's not right to give the children's meat to the dogs. He said that to the woman. But he's still perfect. Jesus got angry. I bet when Jesus took a number 2, it didn't smell like potpourri. If Jesus was going to be a person, he had to be a person because he got angry when they woke him up in that boat during the storm. He was upset. He got upset. But see, this is the problem. This idea of perfect is not realistic. It cannot be attained. So no one can do it. So we say no one's perfect. And that is not true. We don't have to try to be perfect. You have to be you. I gotta be me. You gotta be you. Do you make mistakes? Yes. Are they called sins? No. What are you comparing yourself to? To say, I'm not perfect. Why are you comparing yourself to something? To say, I'm not perfect. You gotta be you. You gotta do you. Can't nobody be you better than you. That's you. Like my kids be like, so dad, and my kids, but you know, sometimes, because you know, as a parent, you got to be a parent. We can laugh and joke and do stuff together. Sometimes though, as a parent, you might have your mood, or but then they tear my house up and I say something. You so mean. And I stopped trying to conform to what they thought I was and not being. I said, you know what? Just tell, when I die, tell people. Guess what? Part of who he was mean. I'll wear that. Guess what? Because if you say that's me, then that's me. I know a lot of people that's mean or not mean, but when you stand up, when you see your stuff being tore up and you say something, you call being mean. When you being a parent, you being mean, right? You a manager at a store and a customer trying to get something for free and you don't give it to them for free. When you know they lying about something, you call being mean. But you gotta be you. This is life. Grow up. Perfect according to what? Perfect according to Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ ain't real. So if Jesus Christ isn't real, why are you comparing yourself to him? This man isn't real. You are non-religious people, non-believers, atheists saying what Christians are saying. Nobody's perfect. And somebody put that on Facebook and they said somebody being perfect. I said, I'm perfect. I'm William Jones. I'm perfect. I'm who I am. And I'm perfect at being me. I might not be perfect trying to act like Barack Obama. I might not be perfect trying to act like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, but I'm perfect when I'm being me. Whether you think I'm mean or not. I'm just saying, you gotta be you, perfect. And then I had to go into the concordance. For those of you that don't know what the concordance is, and I use the Strong's Concordance, it's a book with every word in the Bible defined in the language that is in the Bible. So if you're reading the Old Testament, those words are in Hebrew. It'll give you a Hebrew definition. If you're reading the New Testament, it's written in Greek. It'll give you the Greek definition. So according to the Greek definition of the word perfect, and it's in the Strong's Concordance under the word, number, in the Greek section, 5046 or 5046, it reads as follows. It's teleos. 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 That's for the American dad people. Y'all can get that. Anyway, it says from 5056. Complete in various applications of labor, growth, mental and moral character, etc. I guess neutral as a noun with 3588. Completeness of full age, man, perfect. That's all it says. Now you can go check out the other numbers and what it says, but the bottom line is it really ain't say nothing. Because if it says full age, man, perfect, God is neither man, he's not perfect. People say he's perfect, but if you read the book, he's evil. He's a narcissist. So you're comparing yourself to people that don't exist. Stop trying to be perfect and be you. If you're a good person, be a good person. If you're an asshole, you're an asshole. That's what you are. I'm just saying. Some people know they jerks. They'll let you know, yeah, I'm a jerk, whatever. They wear it. They don't try to change it and to please other people. They gotta be what you are. So a tiger will be a tiger. A crocodile will be a crocodile. A great white will be a great white. And that's like with the movie Shark Tales, with Will Smith in there and numerous other voices in the movie. You had a great white shark that was a vegetarian. But the whole point of the movie, which other things I don't want to get into in this video about that movie, was they was telling Robert De Niro's character, the mob shark, he was upset that his son didn't want to eat meat. He wanted to eat seaweed, which it's a movie. A great white shark is not going to survive on no seaweed. But they were telling him, accept him for who he is. That's who he is. He doesn't want to be like y'all, so accept him. And that's what we have to do. I'm sorry to say, I'm not sorry to say, I'm sorry I didn't want to tell you, and you got to hear it from me to say that people got to be who they are. Because let's go into the whole thing of people being gay. And people get married, especially in religion, people get married because they say that's the right thing to do. But you're making people get married to, let's say, a male getting married to a female getting married to a male, when that's not their preference. They're doing it for other people. They're not even doing it for themselves. They're not being themselves. So when it comes out later that they gay, people knew they was gay, but they got married for the acceptance of the society. But that's not who they are. You gotta be who you are, as long as you don't harm other people. If you are physically harming other people and stealing other people's stuff and all that, then don't be you, then be something else. But other than that, you gotta be you. You are perfect. You are perfectly you. So don't ever tell yourself, I'm not perfect. Yeah, you make mistakes. Sin. I sin. No, you didn't sin, because sin would only be real if you could first establish a God. Has any God been established as real? No? No gods? Then no holy books mean anything. No gods, no holy books, there's no such thing as sin. And sin was originally the name of the moon. That was the name of the moon, sin. And when they worshiped the sightings of the moon at the mountain of Ai, and you put sin and Ai together, you get Mount Sinai. I'm just telling you what to say. I ain't making it up. I'm just telling you that's just what it say. You don't like it? I mean, whatever. Hey, that ain't real. I'm just saying what I'm saying. I'm keeping it basic. I'm not a scholar, okay? I'm just telling you what it is. But you're not perfect. You are perfectly you, and that's why you even have people dealing with suicide. Because why? They're trying to fit into something that they're not. They're different. If you're different, then you're just different. And people they don't want to accept it, but as long as you accept it and be you, you are perfect. But you don't have to even put perfect on it. You don't have to. You're going to make mistakes. That's a part of life. I tell my kids, I was like, you know, when me and the ex-wife, when we let's say when we came home with the twins, and I'm like, how old was I? I was 23 years old. No, I was 22 years old. We were both 20. No, she was 23. I was 22 years old. 22 years old, and I just came. I was just tripping when I got into the vehicle. And they put both of those two babies in that car. They had to have car seats. And they just sent us home. And I'm like, what do we do now? Because, you know, with the oldest one, we had help with the parents, right? But now we out on our own, and they sent us home with two brand new babies. I'm like, they ain't give us no manuals on how to take care of these babies. Y'all don't know if we good parents or not. I'm looking back now, we was just young, dumb kids, and y'all just put two infants in our care. And I always say, this is how life is as a parent. I tell my kids this, my children this, because they're in their 20s now. I said, this is how being a parent is. You got an auditorium or theater full of people out there, and they're waiting on the show, and they're looking at the stage, and the curtains are closed, and you show up, and you like, where's my script? And they like, there is no script. And they just kick you on that stage and say, action! And there ain't no, it's live. So there are no retakes. It's all one take. It's one take. And you're being a parent. You don't know what you're doing. Your kids are literally watching you grow up. But they don't know they don't know you're a kid because they babies. But you're a young, dumb kid. And you're out there with these kids, and you don't know what you're doing. But all they know is, in their world, they come to you for everything because you know everything to them. But you just, like my kids say, Dad, you know everything. I said, no, I just know more than you. Because there's still a lot I don't know. I just know more than you know. I do a lot of research and looking at things. I just know more than you know, but I don't know it all. And with parents, you get, like my mother, to me, my mother she's my superhero. She don't have a cape. But I don't know how my mother does what she does. And I'm thankful at my age to still have my mother alive. I got my mother and my grandmother. Those are the last ones I have. Is my mother and her mother. They live together. And my mother don't, and my grandmother says, I don't even know how your mama do what she does. She could send me money if I need something. She helps out. When I had all the surgeries, she was here. She helped out. She did things. I don't know how she do it. I wish I could, but she does it. She makes it happen. And yes, she's a Christian. She's not one of those ones like apologetic and defending the Bible, all that. Upset that I left Christianity, but thankfully she ain't cut me off and all that fooling. We don't even talk about religion. We just live life. That's my mama. We tight like that, you know. So, but I don't know what she does. Look, in the way I see my mother, if my mama would say, hey, I ain't perfect. In my book, you are. And that's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. You will see your mother or father or grandmother, grandfather, your uncle, who you might see them like, wow, I want to be like them. I love them, especially if your parent has passed away. Can't nobody tell you nothing about them. Don't say nothing bad about them, whether they are here or gone. But in their eyes, they felt I wasn't perfect, but you was like, in my world, you were. You were. I look up to you. You were the best mother ever. You were the best father ever. The best grandmother. The best grandfather. Ain't about being perfect. And guess what? They were the same ones just like you. They got kicked onto the stage and they said, action. And they did what they did. Are all parents good parents? No. But guess what? They are who they are. If they're a bad parent, then they're a bad parent. If they're a good parent, they're a good parent. But we don't say perfect. They are who they are. Let's get rid of this being perfect thing and be what we are. You don't see animals in the jungle, animals in the sea, animals in the flatlands talking about who's perfect and who's not. They're living, surviving, what they got to do. How many parents say, when people get older, they say, look, I did the best I could do. That's when they say, I did the best I could do. And guess what? You still here. One time with my mother, we had a conversation about my youngest son, the one that just turned 26. And he was in middle school or high school, between somewhere around there, probably middle school, about to go to high school. And I told my mom, this is back in the 90s when we was in the projects, and we didn't have a microwave. and we had the glass bottles from the hospital with the milk in them. Some of y'all don't know about them glass bottles. They know all the plastic now. We had the glass bottles. And I would have to boil those bottles to get them warm. And it'd be in the middle of the night, and I had to go to work in the morning, and the wife at the time, you know, she had the C-section, she in bed, threw all the responsibility on me anyway. So I would have to warm those bottles up, put them on the stove and warm them up, and I would fall asleep on the couch, and I would hear them just, poof, poof, I would hear them bust in the pot. Ain't no water in the pot, and the bottles just sitting there, and they just bust from the heat, right? I got to a point where I started just getting warm water out the sink and mixing it with the formula. I added more cereal for this son because he ate a lot. He was he weighed 10.5 when he was born, 10 pounds, 5 ounces when he was born. So he weighed basically what the twins weighed together. So that bottle with just the milk with no cereal wasn't working. And whatever. I poked a little hole in that nipple on that top and put some more cereal in his bottle. He drank that bottle, go to sleep. I told my mother, when the boys like in middle, let's just say middle school, 8th grade, I said, yeah, I got tired of boiling water when we had no microwave. And I said, I started just getting hot water out the sink. And my mom was like, you can't do that with a baby. You gotta boil that water. You can't just take it out the sink. And I'm like, Mama, he's like 13 now. What are we talking about? He survived. So what are we talking about? Okay, yeah, whatever. As a parent, I did that. Okay, guess what? He's here. Got his own family now. He's here. I'm trying to live and survive myself. I'm on the script. I'm on the stage. Ain't no retakes. I got to do what I got to do. A lot of you parents, you do what you got to do. My mother didn't give me everything I wanted for Christmas. I thought it was a Santa Claus. I would want this, and she'd buy me the lesser version, which was that. And as a parent now, I get it. I get it. You have bills to pay, and that's what I hate today. You got bills to pay, and every time you turn around, there's a holiday. Valentine's Day. I gotta go buy some crap, take somebody out to dinner, spend all this money. What's some other days? Oh, you gotta have a birthday. You gotta buy them some stuff, take them out, spend all this money. Anniversary, gotta buy them some more stuff, go out, spend some money. Always these things happen, you gotta keep doing stuff. Imagine you got kids and you trying to pay bills and you're a single parent and you gotta keep doing this stuff and pay bills. You are doing whatever. They might not get what they want, but you're gonna give them what you can afford. You're doing the best you can. Ain't about being perfect. You're doing the best you can. And if you got a parent out there that knew they was on drugs and they couldn't take care of their children, or they was an alcoholic and they turned that child over to somebody else, guess what? That was the best, because they know I can't do it. Good. Acknowledge that I can't do it. And turn that child over to somebody else. Don't put them in a trash bag in a dumpster somewhere, let them die. Let somebody else do it. Be you. If that's you, that's you. If you know you ain't nothing, then you ain't nothing. But it ain't about being perfect. It's about you being you and acknowledging who you are. And one of my daughters, she can't drive. Car banged up like a bumper car without a bumper on it. And I'm like, the first thing you need to do is acknowledge the fact that you're not a good driver. The worst thing is when bad drivers think they're good drivers. No, you'll never get good because you think you're already there. Acknowledge the fact that you are a bad driver. Take a defensive course and do things to get yourself to be a good driver, because your car all banged up. Guess what? You're not a good driver. You're not. So not being good at something, that's your thing. We're not all good at everything, but that's who we are. You know, I love to bowl. I've been bowling since I was 9 years old. I'm a good bowler. Can everybody else bowl? No. Does it make them not perfect? No. It's not your thing. I've never played golf. If I go and play golf, I'll probably suck. I've never played. But if somebody else is good, does that make them perfect and me not? No. Your golf game could be better than mine, but we're not comparing the games till we're talking about the person. Yet again, on the inside, the person. I don't know why we got to keep using this being perfect thing. It's pointless. Let's say, like the girl just did the movie about Aretha Franklin. And if you knew Aretha Franklin, she did a good portrayal, but that's still not Aretha. Think about it. If somebody did a movie about your mother or your father, like they did a good job, you know what I'm saying, but that's still not the person. Only the person can be the person. Like when they did the Tupac, they can look like the person, but being like the person is totally different because only that person can be that person. They have certain things about them, whether it's you consider it weird or not, that is the person. And that's just you. That's who you are. Picky eaters, one of my daughters is a picky eater. She can't eat the slim French fries. She got to break the ends off the French fries before she eat them. And I'm like, would you just eat the damn fries? But that's her. That's her. People have their ways. That's how they are. That's who they are. And that makes them perfectly them. That's who they are. You're doing the best you can do. And depending on what it might be, people might not consider your best to be good enough. But depending on what it is, if that's all you got, then that's all you can do. I remember back when I used to work out at the gym, I worked out by myself. And I didn't want to train or anybody else. And when I worked out, when I worked on the bench, I always used dumbbells because I wanted each arm to work independently of itself. If you got a bar, if one arm is weaker than the other, then one arm can compensate for the other. And I said no. Each arm got to live for itself. And if you get tired with a bar when you're benching, and the bar drops on you, and you need somebody to spot you, and you need some help. You got dumbbells and the stuff get too heavy, let them go. Especially I had the rubber ones. I'd let them go if I got to. And somebody said one more. That last one was the one more. That's why I stopped. That was the one more. That was it. It's like I'm venting, I don't know. But anyway, like I say, this whole Jesus thing, comparing yourself to a person that never existed. And I'm talking about the marvelous, magical, gospel Jesus that never existed. And those is in the minds of some people, after you even left religion, think he was perfect, wasn't perfect, and you can't be what he was because even he wasn't real. An expectation you can't meet. You know how the Olympics started? The Olympics started from the Greeks with Heracles. Heracles, which was called in Rome Hercules, but his name was Heracles because he was named after Hera, after Zeus cheated on his wife with the mortal woman and made this demigod. And she gave him the 12, God damn, I just had it on the tip of my tongue. The 12, what was it called? I'm going to put it on the screen. I can't remember what it is. I can never remember that thing. But he had the 12 things to do. Anyway, the Olympics came about because the people were trying to be like Heracles. And so they had all of the strength tests, the running and the throwing and the javelin and all that. That's how we got the Olympics from Mount Olympus, where Zeus and the other gods dwelt. Mount Olympus, Olympics. Trying to be like Heracles. or Hercules, for those of you who I know you're more familiar with Hercules, but that's where they were trying to be like Hercules. They were trying to be like him, but guess what? He didn't exist. He was a myth. But to people back then, he was no different than Jesus. Oh yeah, the gods were real, right? Because all Jesus is a Hercules. Your father is God, your mother is immortal, and then he had the labors. Bang, I got it. Labors, the 12 labors. He had the labors, and after he matter of fact, to get, what was his name, Serbius, was the 3-headed dog or 6-headed dog? He had to go get the dog from hell, from Hades. So Hercules had to go to hell to get this dog as one of his labors. He did that. The demigod, the God that was half man, half God. That was like, Jesus was all God. Anyway, your mother was immortal. Your father was the head of the pantheon. Here you are. He had to go to Hades to get this dog. That's when he returned. And at the end, when he died, and I guess he burned himself, to the story I know of, he burned himself with fire. And when he died, he ascended to Mount Olympus to be with his father, Zeus. Sounds just like the Jesus story. Jesus had 12 labors, 12 disciples, right? And he had to die, and then he got to sit on the right hand of the Father. Same thing. It's just the same reoccurring myth. For those of us that know Living Single, the TV show Living Single, with Queen Latifah and others, Kim Fields, I can't remember everybody's name, and that was the black version. That was the original version with the black people, and then they just flipped it and made it 6 people with white people, and they made friends. Same show. Same show. How I Met Your Mother. Same show. Group of people all hanging together in some cafe and in their apartment doing stuff. It's the same thing. Well, How I Met Your Mother isn't like Friends because what? It's the same thing. Well, Friends isn't like Living Single because what? They were all hanging out in that one apartment. Everybody knew that one apartment. Everybody hung out in. That one apartment, that one cafe, that one place, everybody hung out in. Same thing. So it's no different with Jesus, Dionysus, and Krishna, all the way down to Zoroastrianism. It's the same thing, no different. It's the same story retold. It's just the closest one to you. That's the last one. That's the one that's closest to where we are now. Well, but let me get back to what I was saying about being perfect. I'm about to end this video. I'm going to end this video. So don't try to be perfect. Don't try to be perfect, because you can't be perfect according to a mythical person that never existed. Don't try to be perfect. Be you. Be you. That's all you can do is be you. Got a call for. Be you. Because nobody can be you like you are you. And you don't try to be you, you're just you. You don't have to copy somebody else like we did in the 80s when people trying to be Madonna. They were trying to be Michael Jackson. They were trying to be this, trying to be Prince. Everybody dressing like something, trying to be somebody else. No, be you. And you will be perfectly you. There will be nobody else that is you but you. That's the point I wanted to make here. Perfect. So when you hear somebody say, ain't nobody perfect, I disagree. I'm perfect. But you did, yeah, I make mistakes, but I'm perfectly me. And if you can't prove to me that a God exists, that his holy book rules don't matter, that's man-made. show me the God, prove the book, make that God follow his own rules, and we'll go from there. Until then, I'm perfectly me. I'm out of here. Peace.